Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is a client reading using the Scorpio Sea Tarot and the Healing with the Fairies Oracle. There were a couple of questions that I pulled cards out for, so I'll be referring back to them in the video. I wanted to get the energy of both people for the reading. So for the person asking the questions, the main cards are the King of Swords, the World, and the Nine of Cups. So for the King of Swords, this one looks like they've been thinking a lot, maybe researching, looking at articles, the fine details. A clarifier that I got for it is the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles. Hardworking, can spend hours doing the job or tasks. With the World card, this is an important card. With this one, I'm getting new opportunities. And as I was shuffling the deck of the Healing with the Fairies, I did see that card as I was pulling other ones out. I did leave that one in the deck though. Looking at a specific direction with, looks like the eyes really focused on a couple of things, but in a direction of where you would like to have the relationship go. What's important about this card, because I've pulled out other cards for it, you have the Four of Coins. And this person looks like they save their stamps in this picture, or they save every penny. It doesn't have to be money in particular, but it could be with money. And with the Six of Coins there, the Six of Pentacles, it could be other emotional ties with it, but money is part of it. But there are underlying energy, such as the Nine of Swords. So with the Six of Coins, this is more of a card of generosity in some regards, but it can also be a card of not being able to give enough. And it could link to the Nine of Swords, because if you're not fully there, or the other person isn't fully there to put into the situation for resolutions, it's hard to give when you don't have the resources, the capacity to do something. So that's something to keep in mind. And with the third card, this is a nice card. This also reminds me of, with the card, the flowers at the top, it was looking like a bouquet or some type of offering or gift. And then the clarifier card that I got is the King of Wands. And there are a couple of archetypes or people that show up in this reading, but it's different aspects of the both of you. So there's definitely a sense of maturity that I would say comes from both parties, because there are a couple of aged archetypes that are shown here. This also looks like an optimistic card too. And with the King of Wands, it almost reminds me of, in this case, like a retired person that used to be a powerhouse or some type of leader in some regard, and being able to reflect on it and maybe have better reactions to things, react or act better based off of past situations. So this looks like a person that has seen and done a lot, and then being able to use that knowledge and experience. I'm sorry, that sounded kind of repetitive. What was interesting with the connecting card is that it's the Nine of Wands, and this looks like a card of fatigue, that you keep going at it. It's almost if you work a bunch of shifts and it makes you work overtime. That's what it kind of feels like at this point. Clarifying, it is the Page of Cups, another archetype. Maybe wanting to introduce some freshness, some replenishment, lighthearted energy that you get from a young doe. And as I go on with the reading, I do see that there is potential before you might look into the reading and think that there isn't optimistic points of it. So with the other person's cards, you have the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the Three of Cups. So with the Ace of Cups, it's definitely a nice card to have, because the Ace of Cups can have an overflowing amount of love or receptivity. Even with the Queen of Wands having a lot of enthusiasm, always looking at the brighter side with the sunflowers, and enjoying the company, which are nice points to have. With the Seal being here, it kind of reminds me of being in the depths of the ocean, and that could be portrayed or related to the depths of a relationship too. Of course, the seal has a coat, or its special skin that can keep it warm even in the frigid temperatures that water can definitely get to. This looks like a energy and card of a person that can take direction, which is good. There is the counterpart of the King of Wands that came up on your side too. I would say for this person, it's more of a light-hearted energy. Not that yours isn't, but there's maybe a bright or maybe like a joking type of jovial energy that you get. And with the Three of Cups, really enjoying the time. So that might be a love language too to take into consideration with that. The clarifying card that I got for the Queen of Wands is the Queen of Swords, which is interesting. Another aged card. So with these aged characters that I'm getting from this reading, I feel like there has been a lot of things that you guys have been through. But I do feel like there's being able to think more clearly or maturely on this person's side, because the card for the Gemini comes up with the Knight of Swords, a younger energy that really not plays the violin well in this card. A mindful person, quick-witted, but not as reckless as they were in the beginning, with the Queen of Swords being from the same suit. But there is bolted energy that you get. You see the horse in this card with the Queen of Wands. And then you have the Eight of Wands, which feels like fast movement, but it also reminds me of the movie Seabiscuit, where it was based off of a true story, and it was an abused horse that people didn't see the potential in. But once they had the right partner, environment, they were able to thrive. So that's also something to consider when you're in a relationship and you look into each other's personalities and what your strengths are and the interests and how you communicate, how you learn, how you're able to receive information and process it instead of it being lost because somebody told you something and you're trying to process it, but it's not clear to you in your head. So to be able to make sure that those points are addressed, otherwise it's lost in translation. Again, with the Queen of Wands, you also have the Sun card, and this is another clarifying card. The Eight of Wands is a clarifying card, and the Queen of Swords is a clarifying card. There are definitely happy moments in here. And being able to take the good, and being able to not look past what has happened, but remember that there's the ebb and flow, and good things come in life. Good things always come. So, with the specific questions, I got for potential for marriage, there are a couple cards. First, positive expectations. To clarify it, we have creative expression, and what to look into is environmental awareness, rise above problems, and letting go. I would say that there's a, with the positive expectations, that's an amazing sign. To help get to this point, to be aware of how the other person functions. I would say mainly with the communication and how to resolve things in a way where it isn't domineering, or in a way where it's detrimental to the other person to a point where it's hard to move past it for them while still being there. So that's important for environmental awareness. And with the hawk there, to be observant. And to be careful, because you see that she's wearing her glove. With the rise above problems and letting go, there are certain things that may have been said or done, and even in the future, to think realistically, is this worth going through this? And if it is, how can you move past it? That would be the main suggestion for that. And then to live together, there was a question about timing. So I'm going to address living together. And the interesting cards that I got for it, which is why I feel like it can be timeless, because once you go with what feels right and corny but going with the flow, then life can take its course and flow naturally. So with living together, I got the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is small things. And the main thing that I'm getting with it is don't worry about it. And with the High Priestess there, the 3 cards, the Lovers, and these are really big cards, which is, I am getting positive expectations for it because they're part of the major arcana. Like, you know what you know. There is a sense of closeness too with this. So the High Priestess, knowing how you feel about this person and the type of bond. And then with the Wheel of Fortune, being able to catch the winning fish. That if you stay focused with your mind and your heart, your actions, your intentions, then there's a direction where the energy goes and you'll be able to work through this. And if they're able to provide a stable lifestyle, there's definitely stability with the Knight of Coins. This is also your card too, which is interesting. The Knight of Coins being the most consistent knight, hardworking, goes to work, good attendance at work. I would say that on both ends, you guys can have provide a good lifestyle. Not saying that the other person won't, but knowing your energy, I feel like there's a lot coming on your end too, so there's also the Eight of Coins, which is a consistent energy. With this one, it's a card that comes after planting the seeds and watching what you plant grow. So it can be more of a harvesting time. What you work towards. There might be some compromises with the Four of Cups, but the fours are in the beginning in 1 through 10, so I don't see it being a big thing that comes from this. And then I'll pull out a final oracle card for the reading. And that's great. It's family harmony. It looks like I have 3 cards from the tarot deck that were also extra for you, and it's the Hanged Man, Eight of Swords, and the Ace of Wands. So a lot of, again, thinking coming from your end. And there looks like there's red here too, so there could be something that feels like a jab, or is that's bothering you about it, but being able to work through it and not overly internalize it. But if you think about it and then release it, it may be healthier, because with the Eight of Swords, it feels like the thoughts are entangling you. So to undo that, the Ace of Wands is there to really take action, and it almost feels like horsepower. So that was the reading. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in another video.